Hello, we are Team 31.
I'm Wei Cheng.
I'm Nicholas.
I'm Iris.
Today, we are going to present on 3D printing personalized meal in space. When in space, astronauts consume space food, which is usually freeze-dried, pre-packaged, and very lackluster. Present manufacturing methods of space food require dietitians to design the menu before astronauts leave the ground. This restricts any modification after takeoff based on the specific needs of ongoing changes in health conditions. Current space food is processed with technologies that actually will degrade the micronutrients in food. Currently, astronauts go to the International Space Station and they are supplied with individually wrapped shelf-stable dishes, which are designed to last for only 6 months in space. After this, resupply missions will provide food for the next 6 months and so on. These meals take up storage space, and after consumption, their packaging becomes waste. With manned deep space exploration becoming NASA's priorities, astronauts will be spending much more time in space. But the current food system does not meet the nutritional needs and shelf life required for deep space missions. Just to give an idea of a timeline, a mission to Mars would take 5 years, and getting further away from Earth means that it is harder for any resupply mission. So now we are posed with a problem that can be split into 3 aspects. We need some kind of space food which can have recipes that can be personalized, take up minimal space throughout its life cycle, and have an increased shelf life. Our proposed solution to this problem is to use 3D printing as the food production method. Why use 3D printing? 2 main reasons are because it is able to support long-duration missions, and it can have psychological and physiological benefits on astronauts. The food paste required by 3D printers can be made from food powder, which typically has a long shelf life and a higher density of nutrients as compared to current space food. From a psychological point of view, food presentations can affect the perception of flavor, and preparing your own meals can have positive psychological impacts. As for physiological benefits, 3D printing technology allows for the mix and match of ingredients and micronutrient supplements. This will cater to the astronauts' nutritional needs. We also explored the possibility of integrating and developing a software as part of the solution to help astronauts create meals based on their daily health conditions.
The design process can be divided into 2 major components: the algorithm to plan a personalized diet for the astronauts, and the 3D food printing process. Firstly, the data representative of the astronauts' current health conditions will be measured and input into the algorithm. Together with the dietary requirements for space missions, the algorithm would propose a personalized meal with the appropriate nutrients. The flavor, texture, and design can be customized by the user. All this information will be sent to the 3D printer, which will then process the food ink to produce the personalized nutrition meal quickly and effectively. We might be very used to examining our diet with the government-recommended food pyramids. However, it turns out that such universal diet recommendation is just a naive assumption. Because humans do not have the same body, it means that our metabolism and microbiome are all different from each other. Therefore, a good diet must be personalized in order to fit each person's unique biological profile. When on Earth, the biological features of the astronauts are inputted into the personalized diet algorithm. These include age, sex, BMI, levels of hormones or blood cells, and so on. In addition, the astronauts would wear fitness trackers to monitor multiple health-related factors, such as physical activity, sleep, and vital signs, which includes blood pressure, heart rate, or stress levels. Based on the collective data of all participants as well as the individual input, the algorithm is trained to predict and validate the optimal diet for each astronaut. After a period of model training, the algorithm is able to suggest personalized daily diets based on the astronauts' changing biomarkers before and after they take off. There are pros and cons for the personalized diet algorithm. Firstly, developing such algorithm also means to develop a system that records and analyzes the daily dietary plans and the subsequent biological responses of astronauts. Such information could be used for future research purposes. For example, contrasting with the health records of the same astronaut on Earth, researchers can observe the potential influence of space traveling on their biological markers and optimal diets. On the other hand, implementing such personalized diet plans means to have additional costs and processes. Extra costs include costs for biomarker trackers, for example, skin patches and fitness watches. There would also be additional processes to collect, input, and continuously update astronauts' health data.
The proposed 3D printing method is extrusion-based 3D printing. As compared to other printing methods, extrusion has a higher ratio of printed foot piece volume to printer dimension, which is desirable. The equipment is relatively simple, hence requires low maintenance. There are also more material choices available for extrusion printing, leading to more variety of fruit products and nutrients. The food ink will be extruded out of the die opening in a controlled manner, moving the material stream in a predefined path, forming layers of materials and building the desired food structure. Therefore, any shapes and texture can be achieved by making simple alteration to the data input of the printer. The parameters to be controlled for the 3D food printing process can be divided into two categories: parameters concerning the printer machine and parameters concerning the food material. They should be carefully selected such that each part can complement each other perfectly to yield the best 3D printed product. As compared to the conventional space food processing method, like vacuum packaging and canned food, 3D food printing has more pros than cons. Since the printing materials used are majorly food powders, they eliminate the need for refrigeration and freezing. Food powders are also easier to store and lighter to transport to space. 3D food printing can minimize food waste and production time, as multiple food preparation steps can be simplified into one. Based on all these factors, 3D food printing promotes environmental sustainability. As for the downside, it might not be as user-friendly as it requires specialized equipment, which is very costly and consumes between 50 to 100 times more energy than conventional methods. We have identified three barriers for the design. First, the printing time is highly dependent on the height of food models and the time for the food materials to cool down before successive layer printings. To improve the productivity, large nozzle diameter and fast printing speed should be used, without sacrificing the printing accuracy. Second, not all ingredients are printable due to inappropriate physical, chemical, rheological, and mechanical properties. These factors affect the printing performance and self-supporting ability of the end product. Exogenous substances, like gums and fats, can be added to alter the properties of the materials. As for the personalized diet, there will be limitations to the algorithm, as the dietary requirements for everyone is different, especially for those with allergies or diseases. These might not be included in the common data entry. For these cases, more information has to be collected and incorporated into the final output of the recommended diet.
Future work to be done on the solution is to design the food materials and understand their material properties from numerical method simulations. With this, the printer parameters can be decided and optimized from finite element analysis. Since current 3D printing software is mostly based on polymer 3D printing, a 3D printing software specific for food is also needed. The algorithm, either static or AI-based, would also have to be written to best determine the nutritional needs of a person. This is the end of our presentation on 3D printing personalized meals in space.